This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Affogato is an Italian dessert that is not only delicious, but really fun to serve. It's also a really great dessert for a dinner party because you can get everything done in advance for the most part, because all you need is a scoop of ice cream, a shot of espresso, and some toppings. So let me show you how I get it ready for when I'm going to serve it to my friends and family. Sometime during the day, go ahead and get a little tray with a piece of parchment, because what we're going to do is scoop all of our ice cream balls out and put them in the freezer. Now, there's a few different types of ice cream that you could choose from. I would pick one of them to serve, but let me show you some of your choices. Now, the traditional affogato is served with vanilla ice cream, and it's awesome. But then if you want to do something a little bit different, you could use a caramel ice cream. Sometimes it's called dulce de leche. Or if you like to go with a mocha type dessert, you could definitely scoop chocolate ice cream. But whatever you decide, go ahead and scoop it all out and put it on a little tray and get it in the freezer. Then you can also get your toppings ready, and this is how I make my sweetened whipped cream. I take a half a pint of heavy whipping cream, which is about 1 cup, and then I go ahead and I get that on about a medium speed to start with, and then I sprinkle in 3 tablespoons of sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla, and I basically just let that whip up until it gets to nice soft peaks like this. Then I transfer it out of the mixing bowl into a smaller bowl, and I cover it with some saran, and I just keep it in the refrigerator until it's time to serve. And then here are a couple of other toppings that are good to use. A chocolate biscotti and some chocolate covered espresso beans. Now, I like to chop these up because I like to be able to sprinkle them on top of the affogato. So for the biscotti, that's, a very dry cookie that's meant to be dipped in espresso. So what I do is I take a large knife and I just kind of chop it up into some pieces. And then I do the same thing with the espresso beans. If you leave them whole, they tend to look almost like jelly beans, and I don't want people to think that's what it is. And then when you chop them, it releases, some of the espresso bean flavor and the chocolate. So it's a nice thing to kind of sprinkle on top. And then you can do these hours in advance as well and just set them to the side until you're ready to serve. Now, when it is time to serve, here's what each person gets. They get a little setup of a large plate, and then on that large plate I have 2 little dishes. One of the little dishes I'm going to put some sweetened whipped cream, and then I'm also going to get a 1-shot cup of espresso. Now, if you don't have an espresso machine, you can certainly use powdered and mix it with warm water. You want about 1/4 cup. And then the other small dish, I have some crumbled biscotti and espresso beans. And then I have a large cup, like a latte coffee cup. And then right before serving, what I'm going to do is get my ice creams out of the freezer. And you can see these balls are really, really frozen, which is great. And I'm just going to put 1 scoop of ice cream in the bottom of each cup. And then I'm going to serve this to my guest just like this. Then what they do is they take that hot espresso, they pour it over the top of the ice cream, and then with their spoon, they can take and put as much whipped cream on top as they would like, and then they can take a little sprinkling of the chocolate biscotti and then a little sprinkling of the espresso beans just right on top. And then they get to eat it. And one of the nice things is because that ice cream is so cold, it doesn't melt immediately, so they can use their spoon. And then as things become more liquidy, then they can just pick the cup up and finish drinking it almost like a coffee. Well, before we go today, I just wanted to mention to you we've got a brand new newsletter that we're sending out every month that has links to all the great shows we put up at the network. You know, every month we put up 42 new episodes on our show. So if you'd like to stay in the loop or get the recipe for the affogato, just go to our website and you'll find all the information you need there. And as always, if you have any questions, please send me an email. I'll see you next time.